Matt and Leah, 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 Matt and Leah. Matt and Leah, Matt and Leah, Matt and Leah, Matt and Leah. Matt and Leah, Matt and Leah, Matt and Leah, Matt and Leah. A pancake.
What is up, boys and girls, and everything in between? It's Bear With Us. I'm Matt. She's Leah. Leah, how are you, my dear?
I am here.
Here.
I'm good. I'm okay.
I don't know if I was expecting to call you out if you had said anything above here.
Yeah, I'm just feeling a little run down.
I can tell.
I went to the dentist yesterday, and you know, and you guys listening know, if you're a longtime listener, I have a huge fear of the dentist. I hate the dentist so much. It gives me such anxiety. I think I'd rather go to the gynecologist than the dentist. Like, I just cannot stand the dentist.
I, for obvious reasons, have never attended a gynecologist appointment of any sort. Why is the dentist worse than the gynecologist?
Oh my gosh. I had a bad experience with the dentist growing up, I think. And I just feel like I was talking to my sister about it last night. I'm like, we were always at the dentist's office. Always. Just always there, whether it was for my mom, my dad, and my parents, they always just brought us there. So we'd always be sitting in the waiting room. And if it wasn't waiting in the waiting room, then we were getting our teeth cleaned or had a filling. And I just feel like, you know, back then, you know, when I grew up, it was
You had to
not
walk
as
uphill both ways to the dentist office in the snow.
not as advanced as it is now. And I felt like it was just torture as a kid. So I have this huge fear of the dentist now as an adult. And I have a crown in my mouth. I think I've told you guys before, and it's really sore. Come to find out, I just needed a mouth guard. So I've been sleeping with a mouth guard for almost 2 years now. That helped. But now it's the point where I need a root canal. And I have severe anxiety over it. I want to cry.
I'm really, really interested in taking a deep dive into your childhood dental drama.
I hate the dentist. But anyway, now I'm on antibiotics because it's so bad. I let it get so bad. You know, I have a bad infection, and it's just, I'm on these crazy
Just for
antibiotics.
clarification, the infection is what was required for the dental visit.
Right.
Not the guy that has the mutually exclusive. We're not talking about one and the same. I just wanted to clear it up in case anyone thought, you know.
I didn't even go to the gynecologist. We're not even
I was just clarifying.
I have an infection in my tooth. It's fine. The dentist said it's going to be fine. It's no big deal. But I'm glad I'm getting it taken care of. But I can't get the root canal for another few weeks because they were all backed up. Again, another reason why it sucks to not have dental insurance, because when I called yesterday to make the appointment, she goes, just so you know, ma'am, it's going to be $1,600 for a molar root canal. I'm like, can we wait until after April? But unfortunately, we cannot. So now I'm going to go broke getting my tooth fixed.
Well, unfortunately, we cannot move the wedding date up any faster because I will actually have a heart attack.
But that's why
Full-blown.
I'm feeling a little down right now. And I got my booster shot today. So that mixed with the antibiotics, the infection, I had a crazy workout. I'm just feeling lethargic. I'm not feeling myself.
Based off of last week's conversation, I knew when I came upstairs from my lair, because I was recording my other podcast this morning, when I came upstairs and you had returned from the gym, I could just tell by your general demeanor not to poke the bear.
Yes, well, I appreciate
I
that.
just went, okay, she's in a crap mood. I knew for a fact that this is the difference. I knew for a fact there was no conceivable reason for you to be upset with me. Because I knew we went to bed last night in a good mood. Everything was fine. Woke up this morning, and I didn't even open my mouth to put my foot in it at any point, or there was nothing I could have
We
done.
had a great morning. We had coffee together.
Yeah, it was fine.
It was
And then
great,
you returned markedly different. So
Yes.
as to the to take my own advice, basically, I just kind of let you be. The drive here, I didn't poke, I didn't pry. I said, you know, what's up with you? And you told me, and I went, okay, I'm going to let it be. I'm going to leave it alone. I debated for about a half a second to really try to wind you up on the podcast because I could push a few buttons right now and
why
just
would you do
unleash the
that?
fires of hell for other people's entertainment, not
And
mine.
That would be rude.
It would be rude. But instead, I think we could just put it into cruise control and
Yes.
enjoy this journey today because as we do each and every week, we have prompted you, the Bear With Us faithful, to engage with us. As you know, each and every week, we like to take a look into the official Bear With Us mailbag, bearwithuspod@gmail.com. And you guys didn't disappoint.
Oh, you guys are the best.
You absolutely are. And if you have sent in a question and we've been able to read it on the show, thank you. If you sent one in and we don't get to it today, although we are taking a deeper dive than usual, we'll probably still get to it. If it's a valid question, and we just need to save some stuff for later, you know what I mean? And we're excited to give you guys some advice, wayward or otherwise.
Did you even say that this is a mailbag episode? You just kind of
I set the
went
table.
into it.
I was setting the table. I was discussing your dental woes.
Right.
And then I said we can put it in cruise control because we're doing something a little different this week.
Yeah.
This is minimal brain power required.
Well, I don't know about that.
That's true.
Because we have to think. We have to give some advice. We have to really put our best foot forward here. Does that apply? Put our best brain cells forward. I am lacking all the brain cells today. I am feeling like I can't even form sentences. So I apologize. But I will put my pain and my lethargy.
Yeah, that would be
Is that a word?
Yeah.
Lethargy. And put that aside for you guys because we have the best listeners and all of the questions that you guys write in, we like that we get updates from you guys. And I owe it to you to just push the through and give our all to you. All of me loves all of you. All your curves and all your edges.
All your perfect imperfections?
Yes.
See, I know John Legend.
I love John Legend.
I do too. I worked for John Legend once. He had a great pet bulldog. I don't know John Legend. I worked security and I escorted him from one room to the stage and back.
Oh my
but I got to
God.
meet his
Did you get
friendly
any fights?
What?
Did you have to?
No,
anyone off?
I didn't even know who he was when I worked for him. This was like,
Wow,
probably
big league
almost
in John
15 years
Legend.
ago. It was like 15 years ago. He wasn't like the dude that's on everything all the time. He
John
played
Legend's always been the man.
No, oh my God. I should have just let you get wound up. Instead, you're turning the tables on me. We haven't even opened the mailbag yet.
You're
My
so
point is,
easy to wind
I
up.
like John Legend, but it was all based on the night I got to work for him. I worked security for him. And again, I didn't know who he was. It was like a 1,500 seat venue. So it was small. He obviously wasn't at the level he's at now. And I was like, okay, I'm there because they were going to pay me $50 to hang out for 2 hours. And I interacted with him very briefly. I'm not trying to make it sound like I have any sort of relationship. It was kind of very surface level. Hey, man, how are you? Nice to meet you. Come this way,
You're
sir.
like, I'm going to protect you.
No, but he
I'm
had
going
this.
to bring you from here to
he
there.
had this awesome bulldog with him the whole time, and the dog was like this super friendly bonus for my evening. I got to hang out and play with John Legend's dogs while he met and greeted some of his most faithful. See, I screwed it up.
I love that for you.
I made it proper, met and greeted, proper tense, and then I screwed up and tripped over my tongue because, well.
I'd like to trip over your tongue.
So anyway.
There's like a pigeon in here or something.
When the hell have you heard a pigeon that purrs like a kitty cat?
You think that sounds like a cat?
Oh, way more than a pigeon. That's there you go. Who knew? You're basically Michael Winslow.
Oh.
What?
From Family Matters?
No. That was a fictional family. Michael Winslow is an actor who is known for his abilities to make basically any sound on earth with his mouth and vocal cords. He became extremely famous in the Police Academy films.
Eddie Winslow.
Not Eddie Winslow, not Carl Winslow.
That is embarrassing.
Well, I mean, we all have
Okay.
our crosses to bear.
Okay,
But
let's just move on.
as you
with
may
this.
have ascertained by this point, we are diving deep into the mailbag. We're devoting the rest of this episode to answering your questions about life, love, and whatever the hell it is you feel motivated to email us about. And you guys have done your part, but we urge you to continue filling the mailbag each and every week. BearWithUsPod@gmail.com. Subscribe on our YouTube page. You can see these shows in their entirety. You can actually watch us and all the ridiculous facial expressions Leah makes, should that be your thing. And of course, if you're listening on your podcast platform, make sure you subscribe, whether you're on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever it is that you are listening to the dulcet tones of our voice. Or Pyro or Pixel or whichever.
Eddie Winslow.
Eddie Winslow.
Hey, big guy. Oh no, that's
freaking Steve Urkel. Wow,
Whatever.
you are just
Whatever.
butchering things left and right here,
Whatever.
babe. It's okay. It's the antibiotics.
My brain's not working. It's the antibiotics. You guys, I'm gonna do my next impression. What's his name? Steve Winslow.
Steve Winslow?
Is that what you just said?
Michael
Winslow. Whatever. Michael Winslow. Okay, I'm gonna do my next Michael Winslow. Bow. Here's the mail, it never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes, I want to wail. Mail. Okay. We're going to both go back and forth today with reading these questions, guys, because my
I like to
brain's not
shoulder
working.
some of the load. I'm helping my woman out here in her time of
that.
need. She's feeling under the weather, over-medicated, and we'll get through this together.
What was that you were just looking at? Someone doing pull-ups on
I just opened Instagram instead of the Bear With Us
Oh.
mailbag.
Okay, question number 1, honey. Oh, that's not the one I wanted.
Wow.
I wanted this one. Question number 1, honey. Hi, Matt and Leah. You answered my question way back in March. The girl who wanted more sex with the perfect guy who seemingly didn't. I'm so grateful for your advice and taking the time to talk about it.
Wait, can we just stop for 1 second to pat ourselves on the back? We've solved another problem.
Yeah.
That's 2 updates in like 2 weeks.
I know. I love that for us. Since then, we've had conversations about it, and it turns out he was having some anxiety over the fact that he couldn't easily make me
Climax. We'll keep this PG-13
Climax,
to the best of
yes.
our ability. That's a medical term, I think.
I've told him that I have fun playing the game and that I don't need to hit the jackpot every time.
That's a
I love
great
that.
analogy.
Yeah, that's so cool. It made us much closer as a couple and our sex lives have improved. That's great. And see that all it takes is communication, just a little bit of a conversation, get the ball rolling, make sure you're on the same page, and then you get it together.
I think we need to freeze that or write that on something.
Yeah.
I enjoy playing the game. I don't always have to hit the jackpot. That's
Perfect.
fantastic.
Very well said. Moving on. Recently, we've moved in together with every intention on getting engaged in the near future. I need some advice. This is the first time I've ever lived with someone outside of my family. It's only been a month, and we're still adjusting to each other's mannerisms, lifestyles, and quirks, but it all feels good and right. What advice do you have about moving in with a significant other for the first time? How long should it take to adjust and figure out a system? How did you two make it work when you started living together? Thank you both for sharing your lives with us. And just, she's just going on and on talking about how amazing we are. That's a great question. And I feel like, how did we get through it? Are we through it? Are we past all of the quirky things when you first move in together?
Well, I mean, we've lived in 2 separate locations and now co-own a home together. I think it's fair to say we've gotten through the rocky part, but it's totally normal because with anybody, you live the way you live and you factor in somebody else who has likely lived a different way in some capacity. No 2 people live the same exact way. You and I didn't live the same way.
No.
And there is definitely an adjustment period. I think this is one of those points where the communication part is of the utmost importance, where if he does something that is making you crazy, where you are like, I cannot fathom the idea of coming home to this situation every day or every night before we go to bed, this thing happens and it drives me nuts. Address it early. Address it often until it either changes or you guys reach some sort of accord.
I agree. I think, for me, I'm so particular in the way I like to live. I like things my way, and that's how I've just always been, because I've been living on my own since I was 22.
Some would call it pig-headed.
Sure. I just have been living the way I like to live. And so when I moved in with Matt, luckily there weren't too many quirky things that were driving me nuts. And if you want some advice, go back to the episode. I'm not sure which number it is, but it's How to Train Your Boyfriend. And I think that's a great episode to kind of pull from, because that's sort of what I did with you. You kind of pick and choose your battles of the things you want to fight about. And you sort of mold your partner into doing things the way you want them done. I know that sounds really bad, but that's what worked for us, I think. And I mean, I'm joking, but I feel like, I like to do things a certain way, and afterwards, Matt doesn't like that. So let me pick my battles of the things I'm willing to compromise on.
But to put your mind at ease, and this is to the person who composed the email. It's a lot easier, and there's more of a monster in your mind than there is in the actual execution of the conversation. You may think to yourself, oh my God, he's never going to stop doing this. How can I live like this? He always leaves dirty dishes in the sink, and I can't have that, or whatever it is that is making you crazy. And I can't speak for all guys, but I can speak for most of us. Usually all you have to do is give us a heads up.
Yeah.
And say, hey, could you not do that thing? Or that thing that you always do? Is there any way we can kind of tweak that? Approach it from a conversational standpoint, not an argument. Because if you come at anybody with anger, you're going to be met with anger or defense immediately. But if you sit down and you say, hey, listen, you got to quit leaving your towels on the bathroom floor. Like, it drives me crazy. Most reasonable people will go, oh, sorry, I just never even thought about that. That's just a thing that I always did, and it takes 30 seconds to adjust. It's not a big deal.
And I think you should, like Matt's saying, don't accuse. Don't be like, well, you're doing this and you're doing that, and I can't stand how you do that. It's all how you approach the situation. And I just think, like, for me, I hate having dishes in the sink. That was a great, like, example. Like, I hate having dishes in the sink. You don't really usually leave your dishes in the sink. So sometimes if you do, I just take them and put them in the fucking dishwasher without making it a big deal. But if it was something like they were piling up, and I would be like, hey, this needs to change. Like, this is not okay. I'm not like your maid. I'm not your mom. We can work on this together and make it work.
Can I just draw attention to what happened this morning in the time that you were downstairs doing your morning cardio?
Yes, you emptied the dishwasher, and I was really hoping you would.
That's how
I left it for you to do it.
You left it because the dishes were piling up in
were.
the sink, and I lost it. And that's another point. You'd be amazed at how many of these small little changes I would have never taken the initiative to do of my own volition, because it was just, all right, that's not a problem. Now I've learned, like, oh God, it makes me crazy too. And it's funny how many different habits you will adapt and sort of accept and make your own, just because that was something your partner brought to the table that maybe you hadn't thought about. And before we move on to the next question, this is going to sound ridiculous, but I am going to reiterate it because I truly believe in it. It was advice not from my own brain, but Howard Stern himself.
Oh my God, the bathroom thing.
Don't use the bathroom in front of each other. I don't care if you only have one bathroom. I understand it's human nature. You got to use the bathroom. Do your best to avoid making that a communal experience, because there's a comfort level that should not be breached. And I think that's it. I think you can share every other aspect of your lives, and hopefully you do, but do not use the bathroom in front of one another. That's just my advice. I have no real solid reasoning for that other than I agree with it.
I don't see an issue with that. Yeah,
well,
like you and I don't agree on that, but I'm not, just because if that's something that is important to you, well, cool, then I'm not going to be like, oh, babe, come watch me go to the bathroom. I'm not going to do that something to you like that.
I'm just saying,
on purpose.
I think it helps with the, you can love everything about your partner, but there's like that one little, like, okay, just let that be.
It's like a mystery.
It is a mystery, and
like
it's
your
best
butthole.
kept a mystery, just like my, yeah, you said it. Put your finger away. Stop it. Stop it.
I don't see an issue with going to the bathroom in front of each other.
Well, I'm telling you.
That's
When they break up, it's on you.
Let's see. Question number 2, honey. I like this one. So happy season 2 is back. My question is pretty simple. After 2 years of awful news with the pandemic, how does someone stay positive in this world? I'm a pretty upbeat person, but it's so hard these days. What a simple but meaningful question. I agree. The world is crazy. Everything has gone to I feel like in the last few years. And I think you have to make an effort to focus on the positive, whether it's trying to meditate or journaling something down, talking about the things that you're grateful for, even if it's just one thing a day that you're grateful for. I think it all comes from your own mind to begin with, my personal opinion.
I agree with that. And I would say, in my experience over these last several years, particularly pandemic times, aside from us getting creative and starting a podcast, it's been tough to have something to focus on that is positive, because if you watch the news, it's all negative. If you get online, it's mostly negative.
Yeah, social media.
I ironically enough, tweeted something last week because I was just feeling it, not intentionally. I just have gotten so bored with social media and staring at my phone and Instagram pictures and terrible news and this person's mad about this and cancel that. It got overwhelming. And I didn't even make a conscious decision to do it. I just sort of stopped looking at my phone so much. My phone, not to say I'd never do. I mean, I'm as guilty as anybody. But you know how, at least if you have an iPhone, every week it tells you your screen time is up 10% or it's down. My screen time was down like 20% over the week prior. And I thought to myself, man, this isn't so bad because I'm no longer absorbing outside stressors. I have stress in my life. You know, you and I discuss this at home all the time and sometimes on the podcast if something stresses me out, but that's stuff that directly affects me. And what putting my phone down has done is sort of just shut off that runway from the outside world or things that don't necessarily affect you directly. It's no longer right in front of my face.
Right.
And it sounds maybe like I'm putting my head in the sand, and that's not my intention because there are great problems that need addressed throughout the world. They're not necessarily my problems. So for them to wear me down and change my mental status as pertains to you, it'd be like me reading something in the news and me being in a bad mood around you due to no fault of your own.
Right.
But, oh, this stressed me out or this pissed me off. Or did you hear about that story, how disgusting this thing is that happened? And you only need to look at your phone for about 30 seconds to find one of those things to set you off. I've been working in my own head on sort of shrinking my world, if that makes any sense. Focus on what I can control and what the issues are in my life that directly affect me or you or my children or my direct bubble of people.
Yeah.
If it's not going to affect what happens when you and I wake up tomorrow, there's no use in me laying in bed, staying awake, thinking about, oh my God, can you believe there's this conflict over this or there's that or this happened. A lot of stuff you just can't control. A lot of stuff you'd love to control.
Sure.
I would love to be like, oh my God, you know, my taxes are through the roof now. I can't do anything about that right now.
Right.
So it's just, it is what it is, and take it on a case-by-case basis, but shrink your world. I think it was yesterday or the day before, opened Twitter, and I unfollowed like 200 people or something that were just various, you know, journalists from different news organizations and different websites and things that are very much this versus that, and it just, it's like, man, I'm just over getting
stress.
worked up because of stuff other people say. If you say it to me or about me, we're fair game. But if it has nothing to do with me, why am I expending my own energy on that when my energy is just as well spent doing not a damn thing laying on the couch?
Right. Well, I think it's important, and I think I'm going to take a little credit for this because I feel like there are so many things that you would bitch about or complain about or stress about, and it's like, babe, you have no control over that. So why are you even losing or wasting time or sleep on any of these things that are so far out of your control? And so I'm proud to see.
Preparing for my career in politics.
I'm really proud to see the growth. Because it's true, we can only control what we can control, and everything else, I mean, you can't lose sleep over it.
And it's growth, and it's a process. And it in this day and age, in 2022, it's impossible to go through your day without your phone in some capacity. My suggestion is, hey, even if you want to jump on and stare at your phone, there are lots of websites and apps for things that you enjoy, that make you happy. Yeah. Whether that be sports or meditation, to your point, which I live by those meditation apps. I've got like 3 of them on my phone now. There are so many different positive aspects of having the world as big as it is and having it at your fingertips that it seems weird. It seems ridiculous if you think about it, that we all consume this negative stuff willingly. Like you look at news numbers and these different networks doing record high business because it does something to us. It triggers some feeling inside of us as human beings. I don't know what it is. There are probably psychologists that are paid to do that. Like, hey, this is going to keep people hooked. This is going to keep people watching. But you just keep being fed this negativity and you just internalize it. And all of a sudden it becomes your problem.
Yeah.
But it's really not that difficult to sort of isolate yourself from a lot of the outside negativity.
I think this is a conversation we can have a whole podcast on as far as social media and the news and just media in general. But something that I think helped me is we all do it. We all go on Instagram. We all scroll mindlessly, just you're scrolling. Something that helped me with, my mental health is I unfollowed accounts that for a woman, I compare myself so much to other women. Like, oh my God, her body's so great. How does she look like this? And like, I started unfollowing these women that I know are photoshopping their photos and editing their photos because they're not realistic. So I stopped following people like that. And I started following more positive quote pages and stuff about, investing and wealth podcasts and just different things like that I've noticed such a difference.
You have like a secret stash of money I don't know about?
Well, no. But I just think those things, following those accounts and being mindful of the accounts you're following on social media really makes a difference. And I know it sounds crazy, like, oh, just unfollow them and follow accounts that are positive and that make you feel positive, because we're all scrolling regardless. We all mindlessly scroll, but you don't realize all of the impact that these accounts have on you until you start changing. I've noticed such a difference in the way I look at things and how I feel about myself now that I'm not following people that make me feel bad about myself.
Make you feel less than or less successful, even though most of it's nonsense.
And one more tip that I like that's helped me: when you wake up in the morning, don't look at your phone. That's not you shouldn't be looking at your phone the first thing, like, oh, you wake up, look at your phone. Put it aside. I try to go at least 30 minutes to an hour without looking at my phone. I don't look at my phone until I get on the bike. After I've made my coffee, I do my little morning routine, get on my bike, and I'm doing my cardio, and then I'll take a look at it and catch up on everything. But you don't have to look at your phone as soon as you wake up in the morning. And then maybe like an hour before you go to sleep, you don't look at your phone. Just kind of take that time to unplug, unwind, and remove yourself from the outside world.
And you've made that choice for me, whereas I generally stare at my phone in bed until you jump into bed with me.
Yes.
And now you do your whole meditation, saging of the room.
Yes.
And you told me, I think you made it up. You're not allowed to be on your phone when you're saging the room.
I did, because I just didn't want you to be on your phone. I feel like it put negative vibes in the air. So when I'm saging the room and I'm doing my nightly ritual before I go to bed, I'm like, okay, put your phone down. It helps.
I like this conversation. I say we put a pin in it for now, because I think we can get a lot of mileage out of this. I know for a fact on some of our Instagram posts, people were mentioning how they would like to have a conversation about mental well-being in this day and age, and I think we could definitely give the people what they want.
Gotta give the people what they want. It gets the people going. It's provocative.
We'll skink to one song and one song only. Lady Humps by the Black Eyed Peas.
Question number 4, honey.
We're on 4 already?
Yeah, we are.
Wow.
We're just blowing through this. Hey, Matt and Leah, congrats on the engagement. Need to know what cake you go with. Oh, that's interesting. We're not even really worrying about a cake. I just want to do a tiny little baby cake so we can do the tradition of cutting the cake and feeding each other.
It's going to be a cake in ceremony only. And
right. Maybe we should just do a cupcake.
I think, honestly, after the cake that we obtained for my daughter's birthday this past weekend.
Oh, yeah, that was
If
so
I
good.
could just get that cake, I might fly that with me, because that is the
good.
most amazing cake I've had maybe ever.
Okay, but that wasn't the question.
I was going to say, wow, that was an interesting pick.
There is a girl who is a former coworker that I've developed strong feelings for, and that has led us. I swear my brain isn't working. There is a girl who is a former coworker that I've developed strong feelings for, and that has led to us being in some sort of relationship since October of last year. The only issue with her is that she is extremely non-committal, and while she has expressed her feelings of love towards me each and every single day, she also has strings tied to her previous relationship, i.e. an older cat she flew from Jersey to Vegas to see. I try to be open-minded and give her complete trust in handling things, while I don't want to put anxiety or pressure and scare her away at the same time. Also want to respect my well-being and what I want to. What should I do? Oh, man. I don't know. He said it was from October? And he just sent this now. October, November, December, January. It's only been 3 months. I don't think this is a bad situation to be in. I don't think it's bad. I just think they need to be open and honest. If she's expressing her feelings towards him, that she's definitely into him. 3 months I don't know if there's a specific timeline for when you have to be fully committed. There's no rule book. Who knows their situation? Or
I would agree.
I'm looking at you and you have so much doubt on your face.
I have doubt on my mind for one reason. The cat.
I disagree.
The fact that she flew across the country to go see her cat, because the cat, I'm assuming, is in possession or in the possession
Her ex,
of
yeah.
her ex.
Sure.
Huge red flag.
I don't agree.
Huge red flag.
I don't agree.
There is no goddamn four-legged creature on earth that it's worth flying across the country to your exes to see if
Doesn't
you are
mean
in
she's staying with the ex.
It doesn't
I
matter.
have one of our very good friends shares their dog with her ex, and they always go back and forth.
Get a new goddamn dog.
No, are you kidding?
Yep.
You have
No, I'm
'cause
not
you-
kidding.
Yeah, well, okay. We're not even going to get into that. You don't have the same love for animals as other people.
I have children that I
Right.
have to.
Sure, children, but I'm saying pets. It's different. I've never seen you love a pet. I mean, you had dogs with your ex, and then you just never saw them again,
Yeah.
right? And you don't even
And if
care
I
or
didn't
think
have
about them.
kids with my ex, then that would be the same situation across the board.
Sure, but I'm just saying some people.
It's a cop out.
No, I don't
It is
think
a
so.
cop out.
I don't think so.
100%, it's a cop out.
No.
Well, I'm gonna go back to see. I'm gonna fly back to see my ex. Well, I'm only going to see my cat.
I can see what you're saying with
now,
that.
If the cat
If they're
was if
going-
the cat was a sentient being and could get up and meet you at a restaurant, sure.
Oh my God, you're
Go
ridiculous.
for it. But the fact that you are going back, that is a massive red flag.
I don't agree.
You're,
I don't agree
if
at
you,
all.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if you all of a sudden went, you know what? I haven't seen my dog that my ex and I shared today while we're engaged, 2 months away from getting married, and you were like, I think I'm gonna fly back and see my pet. I'd be like, the hell you are.
Oh my God.
Let me get that ring
Babe,
back.
You are really sounding crazy.
I'm a
because people love their pets.
It
Some
doesn't
people
matter.
love their pets more than that's why they don't have kids. It doesn't have anything to do with the ex. I can see now if this girl is using this as an excuse to go see her ex, I understand that, and that is a red flag. I completely agree with that. But if she's just truly genuinely going to see the pet because she loves her cat, I mean, I would
So what, her ex gonna just sit on the couch in the corner while
It's
she
not
sits
she-
on the floor and
babe,
plays with the cat?
She could easily go pick up the cat and go with, if she has friends or family over there, she has her own hotel. Who knows? It's not like she's going and just hanging out with her ex. I think you're being a little crazy. I get the fact if she's going back and using that, oh, well, I have to go see the cat, but she's really going to her ex, then I get that. But if it's over a pet, I don't think that that's a problem. I think they need to have a serious conversation. Hey, it depends how serious they were. Were they why did they break up?
It's an excuse to not cut the final string, is what it
No,
is.
I don't
It's
agree.
exactly what it is.
I don't agree.
She may have cut most of the ties to this past. That's her lane that is still open to. I'm not necessarily sure I'm ready to totally move on and cut bait because. The cat is nothing more than an excuse to keep that line of communication open. I'm telling you right now.
It could be. That is a possibility.
I'm telling you, that's
no,
what
babe,
it
you
is.
don't know everything.
I
You don't
know.
know. And it could be. It could be. But it could just be the fact that she loves her freaking cat. She just
Well,
loves the cat.
You can love a cat, but guess what? That if a cat ever got in the way of another relationship, that's a whole different set of issues.
I just
and red
think you're being a
flags.
little cynical about it.
I'm not
I
being
feel
cynical.
like
I love my pets. If you and I broke up tomorrow, I would fight really hard to take Pyro with me because he's my best friend. But the last excuse I would ever use under any circumstance to come back around you would be, you know what? I'm going to go hang out with my ex-fiance because we share a cat. We're going to go see
and
the
I
cat.
get that. That's
It's
you.
cowardice.
Everyone is different how
Move
they
on.
view things and look at things. That's your opinion.
I want
And
everyone to weigh in on this one. I'm telling you right now, the cat is a giant freaking neon red sign saying there's a problem here. Now, that's not to say if you have a conversation with her and say, listen, that sounds like some bullshit to me, because I would, and especially this deep, you're not on a second date. You're 3-4 months into this
3 months
relationship.
in.
If you say, hey, listen, that's kind of weird to me. If she has any logical thought in her head, she should go, okay, I understand why that's weird.
Right.
And here's XYZ, how I'm going to ease your mind about it.
Right.
But even if you're given XYZ as to why you should not be concerned, you should be concerned. Because if you can't, what's that saying that I bring up all the time? You can't make it to the future if the past is still present.
Sure.
You got to throw the baby out with the bathwater in this case.
I get it, but I just think every situation is different. Maybe she fucking despises this ex, but she loves her cat. I don't know. I'm just trying to look at it from what is it, objective point of
Objective,
view.
yes.
I don't know the situation. If we knew, oh, she keeps going back to her ex and finally, you know, she's deciding maybe she's not going to be with him, like then, okay, well then of course the cat is her reasoning for sticking around with the guy.
With kids, it's one thing because they're human beings. They
Sure.
need love and attention from their, hopefully both parents, or even if it's separately.
Sure.
They're human beings.
Of course.
This is a cat. The cat may enhance your life in the sense that you feel nice when you come home and see it, and it likes to rub up against your legs or sit on your lap and purr. It's not a big enough weight. It doesn't carry enough weight, I should say, to still be present in a manner that is giving your partner pause.
In your opinion. That is in your opinion.
I think
know
I'm
a lot
right.
of people,
I
and I
think-
have a lot of friends, and I know a lot of people that share custody of their pets. And I know it sounds crazy to you.
Sounds ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It is, but it is a thing that people do.
That'd be like me going, oh, I left my favorite pair of socks at
No,
my
it
ex's
is
house.
not,
I really
Matt.
love those
It is
socks, so
not
I'm
at
going to go
all.
over there once a month
Okay, we're
to
gonna
put
need
them
to
on.
move on because you're just being a little ridiculous.
I'm
about it.
right.
Move on to
I'll
the next
die on
question.
this hill.
Move on to the next question.
You have all the questions, or
No,
do I have this
you
one?
have the next one.
I have the next one. I'm right. I can't wait till all
Babe,
of
I
our
can't
listeners
fucking- babe,
agree.
This is why it's like really obnoxious sometimes. Like I get it, you think you're right, but other people are allowed to have opinions.
That's fine. Other people are allowed to be wrong. That's okay. I love that you're mad at me.
Because you're so obnoxious. Just let it go. I get you think you're right, but not everyone thinks that way.
The guy sent an email asking for our advice and our opinions. You
I'm
gave
allowed to give
yours.
mine.
I gave mine.
Right, but yours is right. You're
so?
the only one that's ever right.
I'm standing by it. I
Move on. Next question.
I wish you would get
number-
booster shots every
question
day.
Number 5, honey.
This is see, you're putting me in a bad mood now because
my God. Because you're right and I'm wrong.
No, because
maybe because I'm right and you're wrong.
You're not right.
Well, I'm right.
You're totally
I'm
incorrect.
right. How does it feel?
How's what feel?
Here, I'm right.
Because I am.
believe I'm right, and
Okay.
you believe you're right. So that's fine. Move on to question number 5. Read it.
It's this.
No,
well,
it's not.
tell me, how does it feel? Show me how it
I'm
stinks,
right.
doesn't it? You're not.
Yes, I am.
This woman is doing something with her ex because of and using the cat as a
Babe,
veil,
we
and you are
have
giving her
friends.
plausible
No,
deniability.
We have friends.
I don't have that friend. Maybe somebody I
I'm
know.
not going to say it because I'm not going to put their business out there. I'm just saying.
Well, if I knew that was the case, I'll tell them too. If you tell me which friend it is, I'll make a phone call once we
Okay.
get out of the studio and
Okay,
be like,
we'll do that.
dude, they're no, but you're also comparing apples to oranges.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You are comparing apples to oranges because our friend that shares custody is not in a situation where they have issues moving on to a new relationship because of the pet.
Sure.
They might have split. They may both be single. One may go get married. They may get along swimmingly. The problem with the email is this dude is trying to go, I want to move forward with this girl, but this thing is holding us back. If you're letting a cat stop you from moving forward to your relationship, that is a problem.
Sure.
And no matter how you slice it, I'm right when it comes to this particular email and this situation. If you and I went Splitsville tomorrow and you were moving on and I moved on and it was like, oh, hey, we're both better off. It is, hey, you mind if, we're in town. I'm going to swing by and check out the pets. Okay, great. That's not weird. But when it's, I really want to move forward with this girl, but her ex is still in the picture, because that's what this is about. It's not about the cat. It's about the ex. The ex is still in the picture. And the cat is simply the conduit to getting in this situation. So that's why I'm saying it's not the cat's fault. It's the girl's fault. And if she is truly interested in moving forward with this gentleman who sent us an email, once he has a conversation, not an accusatory argument, or say, I know when, I'm not saying that she is going there and effing her ex-boyfriend because they have a cat. I'm saying that there is still he still has one claw, pun intended, the boyfriend, in this girl because of the cat, period. Because if the cat didn't matter to the dude, trust me, I'm a dude. If the cat didn't matter to the dude, he'd say, all right, take the cat. I'll go get a new cat. I'm telling you, I have never believed so strongly in anything that has been asked of us.
Can we move on? That's fine. Question number 5.
Now you know I'm right.
Babe, I'm not engaging anymore.
Okay. Anyway, I'm going to do this one because it's going to require a little selective editing as to keep this here podcast appropriate for all listeners. So I'm going to be a little creative, but chances are you know what the actual phrase is that I am replacing. Hi, guys. Congratulations on the engagement. Just a heads up, everyone around you will lose their minds the week of the wedding, but just ignore them. Well, thank you for the heads up. This is a 100% serious topic, and here's where it gets tricky. It's an act of love that is performed in a vehicle from one partner to another while generally moving along the highway.
Like what we did the other night?
Exactly what we did the other night. But anyway, I met my boyfriend in 2020. He's a full-time musician. We ended up hooking up that night, and this act ensued. Almost 2 years later, he's never let me do it again. Now he says it's not safe. I get that back then everyone was locked up and went nuts, and now that we can be around people, I would like to partake in it now and then. What guy doesn't want insert act here? Isn't that a fantasy? Just because he loves me now, he won't let me whip out his blank in traffic in case we crash and die. Super rude. What are your thoughts, or should I just not fight this battle?
I don't think it's a battle worth, like, it's not a hill to die on, but I think it is a little weird. But maybe he is a little worried. He doesn't want to, like, how did you die? Well, getting my
Wow. Subtlety, not something you are even capable of. We danced around it, but then leave it to Leah to, anyway. Look, this particular act, from a male's perspective, a male who was driving, I don't know, 70 miles an hour the other night when it went down. It's freaking stupid. It's a stupid idea. That said, I enjoyed it. It's hot, but it's probably illegal. I don't know if it is illegal, but it probably should be, because your body sometimes does involuntary things under certain circumstances, like, legs stretch and shake, and if you're operating pedals at the same time, it's a high risk situation. I would recommend waiting for a long straight stretch of road, a turnpike or a long highway where there's not going to be a lot of twists and turns, and definitely when there's minimal traffic around.
Yes, because I've tried before, and you're like, babe, no, there's too many cars.
It's not,
and it's like I didn't get mad. I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, it's not so much like, oh, I'm worried about somebody seeing. It's like, oh, okay, if I happen to enjoy myself a little too much and I grab the wheel and I broadside somebody, it's probably going to kill us both, and I'm going to die without my favorite appendage.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think it's a hill to die. And I'm like, oh, why'd you break up? Well, he wouldn't let me give him,
Right.
But maybe just have a conversation like, hey, like, is there something that happened? Like, why did you like it when I did that before, but you don't anymore? And it's just a conversation. You don't need to get mad. Don't accuse him of anything. Just have a conversation. And if he has a good enough reason, okay, well, that's fine. I won't do that anymore.
And there could be a litany of reasons that he's not a fan of it. Here's a thing. Here's a little revelation. If you've never been in that situation, there's like a kind of an awkward period once it's over, because you're trying to put yourself back together with a seatbelt on. In my case, there are multiple layers of jackets and coats and shirts, and there's a lot happening in the immediate aftermath, which kind of is like, oh, well, okay, you don't think about that. So just make sure you go into it fully armed with the knowledge of, like, all right, there are a few little hurdles you may not think about that could present themselves. That said, if he's not into it, I mean, I get that.
Here's what I would suggest. You drive, and then you make him do it to you. That's what you do.
What is he? Is he a micro person?
Yeah, we'll figure out a way.
What are you
going to
do?
Vibrator.
What's he going to operate the pedals in reverse from? Like,
no,
that's impossible.
It is not impossible. He was telling me he couldn't use his hands while she's driving.
That's a different situation than what we were describing.
Well, I'm just saying, if he won't do it to you, then you get in the driver's seat, baby, and you tell him to get to work.
Yeah, but I think it's it's the combination. It's the act with the
I'm just saying, try that, recommend it, and see if he doesn't even do that. Then it's like he must have some weird aversion to anything that happens in cars.
He has a weird aversion to death. God forbid.
Well, people do that all the time.
I'm all for getting as wild and crazy as you want. God knows we've experimented with enough things that are probably risky at certain situations, but if the dude's saying it's not right, that's not what I'm into, it doesn't feel safe.
What's wrong with her recommending it then? That's what I'm just saying. Like, just try that. And then if he doesn't do that, then maybe there's something about cars that scares him. I don't know.
You're that's not the same thing. I don't know if that scratches the same itch.
But I'm just saying, if he won't let her do that to him, then just it. You get in the driver's seat, girl, and you have him do it to you. I can have a recommendation. Like, all of a sudden, this has turned into everything Matt says, thinks, and does is right, and Leah can have a suggestion. I'm just saying, why not try it? Try it out.
What have I suggested? Nothing. I was
you're
simply
looking at
trying
me
to
like
put
I'm
myself.
crazy for suggesting that.
But I'm saying that may not fix the problem, because the issue is not, I need to be turned on and touched going 55 miles an hour. It's she wants to do a particular thing, and he's saying, no, not really into that.
Not a big deal. So move on. Like, if he doesn't want to do that, not a hill to die on. But you know what? Why don't you have him try it on you? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you need to get to the bottom of why he won't do it. If he just doesn't like it, he doesn't like it. That's fine. But just why don't you try something a little different? That's all I'm saying. Just giving a little suggestion. And I think that's okay.
Great.
I'm going to make you do that to me on the way home.
It's like a 4-minute drive.
Well, get to work, baby.
What else you have in the bag?
I feel like that's an awful lot of questions.
Okay. Well, then I guess we won't help anyone else with their issues.
Well, we have a bunch, but I think we can save some. I feel like we did 5. That's a lot of questions. And I really don't want to argue with you anymore. I don't want to be at odds with every question, because everything I'm saying is wrong according to you, and I don't want to do one more question and get in a fight. I want to get along. I want to feel great. I want to love each other. I want to be happy. I don't want to have to take all of our pets tomorrow and leave you, and then you don't even get visitation rights, because then your future girlfriend will be very, very concerned.
If you left tomorrow and took all the pets, you would never see me again.
That is awful.
Ever.
That is awful.
I would write you off as a human being to your core. And then the pets would be a factor, because then I knew you were just trying to stick it to me. Or you were trying to hold on to me in some weird backwards capacity. Anyway, hopefully we helped some of you. If not, we confused you greatly and probably ruined a relationship or two. But that's what we're here for. Amateur therapy with Matt and Leah.
You guys, I'm sorry that you even have to deal with this. But
what are you apologizing for?
In our defense, they're asking us.
Exactly.
So
there's no defense here. You don't ask the question you don't want an answer to. And it may not be the answer you wanted. It may not be the right answer, but you're going to get answers.
Well, we're getting a lot of emails with updates, and I do love that. So if we have given you some advice, whether it was good or bad, we want to hear your feedback. We want to know if it worked or if it backfired, so we can be fired and no longer answer your questions, give you bad advice.
Be fired?
Well, we'll have to fire ourselves.
Does that mean I can fire you? Do I have that authority right now to be like, you are so wrong? Out of here.
Story of my life.
And then you'd be like, I have to fly back to do my podcast with my ex. I can't stop.
But I'm taking the pets, though.
Good. Take
all of them.
Take
even
them.
Pyro.
Well, leave me with my mailbag at bearwithuspod@gmail.com. Refill it. Send in your questions. We will get to them sooner or later. Make sure you leave us reviews, subscribe, tell a friend. Also, while you're at it, while you're composing these wonderful emails that give us so much lovely content to debate and discuss here on the program, what else would you like Bear With Us to be? What would you like more of? What would you like less of? Don't say less Matt, because I'll kill you. I just edited myself there.
Less Matt.
I edited myself because I'm a GD pro.
And we're not answering anything to do with our jobs. So don't even bother asking about that. Our other jobs.
Y'all should realize.
What's your favorite match? What's your favorite gear?
Oh, and by the way, that announcement we keep teasing, we actually got updates.
It's coming!
but we're not allowed to give them to you just yet.
Can we just say that it's probably within the next few weeks?
Yeah.
We'll say
I mean, that's fair.
Within the next few weeks, you will know, you will hear about it. And especially for our Bear With Us listeners, you guys are going to really enjoy it,
Yeah,
I think. I mean, it's
think
for
so.
everyone. It's not just for you guys, but I truly believe that you guys, it's because of you guys.
It's mostly.
Actually,
for you
it's
guys.
1000% because of
It's
them
1,000% because
that
of
we're
them.
getting this, that this thing is happening.
We're doing this.
We're doing this.
You suck at it. Just you are off today. You're just giving away secrets.
You guys, I'm just so excited to tell you. I can't wait. I feel like we owe it to them because they were a part of this. I mean, we're not.
Okay.
It's nothing to do with the podcast, but I guess it kind of does.
Would you stop?
Oh my God, it
you
does.
are
Okay,
you
I'm
are confusing
stopping.
me,
I'm
and I know
stopping.
what the secret is.
I love you guys so much. And now I'm going to go home and get in trouble because I told Matt he was wrong.
You're not going to be
That's
wrong.
what I deal
It'll
with.
just behoove you to come to that realization that I, in fact,
All
am
right.
right.
Anyway, I'm going to go home and take a nap. I'm tired. Why are you looking at me like that? This is what I deal with on a daily basis, guys. Miserable Matt. That's what I call him. Le Miserable Matthew.
I'm like Jean Valjean. Goodbye forever.
Bear with us.